this is an exciting one. I've got a beta version of something that was just released called Soliste by Expressive E. And what this is a new custom-built set of string instruments, so double bass or contrabass, cello, viola, and violin. And they are custom made for the Osmose and for other MPE-based instruments. And I do think you could use this to some great effect with non-MPE keyboards as well. You could use things like the pitch bend wheel. You can also use this with the Touche controller. I just happen to have the Touche controller right here, and I did a video on this a few years ago, and I love this thing. So I am excited to try this out with this software as well, because you could have just a regular controller keyboard and use the Touche to do all of the expressive things that this software can do. So this video is going to be a little bit of an introduction, show you what it's all about. I just got it. I'm going to have to learn how to play it and control it with the Osmose. And I think it will become a bit of a performance type instrument. I should also mention that they did send me the software for free and the Osmose. That's why it says paid promotion at the beginning of the video, but they're not paying me actual money to make this video, and they don't get to see the video before I release it. Let's go have a look at it and see what it's all about. Okay, so you can see I've already got this cello patch hooked up to allow me to control the vibrato with the Osmose. And that's one of the most powerful things about the Osmose, is the fact that you can bend notes side to side. And you can see in the software here that they've got a control to allow you to have automatic vibrato, which I can also enhance with the keyboard if I want to. And what you can see on this interface of the software is you've got pitch on the left side and bow on the right side. And so pitch says left hand, because if you're a regular violinist or string player, you'd be controlling the pitch with your left hand on that instrument. So imagine a violin, and then your bow is the right hand controlling how the notes are played. And we're going to see some really unique ways that you can do that kind of thing with the keyboard. And that's what's so magical about this whole thing, is that up till now, we really haven't had good ways to imitate the sound of these string instruments. And if we just click on more control on both of them, then you'll see that you can actually access some sort of deeper aspects of the sound. So let's get into that in a second, but you can also see this image in the middle. So right now this, and we've got different variations of the sound. As you can see, it's not a sample-based instrument. Right on the side, we see expressive physical modeling cello, which means it's generating the sound. I think I had it set to antique. Sounds really nice. So yes, with the vibrato control, you can decide how fast that's going. Amp looks like it's controlling how far the vibrato is going. And then if we click on the more control, that's where we get to a little bit more pitch controls. And in here is where we can turn portamento on or off. Here it's sliding up to those notes as if the cello player is sliding down the strings. And then we can control that with velocity if we want, or we can just say it's always on. You can see that would get kind of exhausting after a while, but if you take your finger off right before, you can play without having the portamento effect in there. So it just depends on what you're going for, I guess. But assisted vibrato, I've been finding I like it turned off, so then I can control it myself with the keyboard. And then on the right-hand side, we have the expression or the bow. And if I play some notes, you can see how much we can control the expression just with the key press. And that's another thing that's special about the Osmose, is it has such a deep key press. And if we click over on the more control, you can see some different ways of doing this. So right now we are just using the regular sustain, and then actually have this back and forth mechanism that would happen with a real cello, and you can do it just by moving your finger up and down. Here, if I play slower, it's not doing it. And then we have back and forth, just straight back and forth. Tremolo. And so it looks like we can control the speed right here. Now what happens if we take the speed, crank up the expression? Here now, as I push it down further, the speed is getting faster. Oh, that's cool. So that's the kind of controls that you have with the key press as well. Then the other thing that you've got here is something called presets, and that's where you're going to find different modes. But if I go to virtuoso mode, hear that it's tapping into that up and down thing. So it's kind of a combination of the regular mode and the back and forth, and then classic mode, I think, is the default one. They've got other ones like sul ponticello, which is where your bow is getting closer and closer to the bridge of the instrument, so it sounds a little different. Sul tasto, closer to the fingerboard, so a little bit further up on the cello towards the player's head. Tremolo back and forth. So I'm not sure why they have tremolo here and then tremolo in the other one. So this is something I'm still not entirely clear on, but now we're going to find things like pizzicato, Bartok pizzicato, which is a little more plucked, called legno, where they actually turn the bow around and hit it with the wood. And then we've got our short articulations like spiccato. Sounds really good. Staccato, staccatissimo, and martelle. And then last thing you've got is things that you can do with like effects and reverb and stuff like that, and the timbre. So we can brighten this up. Oh, that's nice. I might just keep that there. And so there's one problem I had with it right away, which is how do I switch between articulations? And so I asked Expressive E, and they said that that is something that's coming. So right now you can't switch articulations with MIDI or with a key press or something like that, or a key switch. So what I'm going to do with this little demo is just go over and make a duplicate of the cello, and I would have different articulations. So not ideal, but all I've got is a legato patch and a short patch. So that's how I'm going to switch between the different articulations. So let's start with the short, and I'm just going to play something in here. If I go to the bow here, you can see that under velocity, I've got it cranked up to 100 in terms of this attack. And so this little attack module, if I turn that way down, let's listen to that. You can hear that velocity is no longer controlling the attack, but if I crank it way up, which I really like. I like having that control with the velocity. What about if I want these notes here to be legato? I'm going to delete them, and I'm going to play them on the legato patch. Okay, so I'm going to double that up, and then I'm going to play a like legato patch for the next little section of this song. And if I don't want it all to be portamento, all I have to do is disconnect some of these notes. before we wrap this up, let me just add a bunch more instruments and we can try out the double bass and the violin and the viola. So let's make a new track here for the double bass. I'm going to turn off the vibrato. Oh, that sounds great. I'm going to go down an octave. Okay, for the double bass, maybe let's go presets. Okay, let's go with the staccato. You know what might be fun is if I take this part, put it down in the bass. We're going to try taking this cello part and moving it up. Let's try another instrument. Okay, so I should mention that we also have some controls under the Advanced tab right here. For the bow, we can go, we can make things a little more intense. You kind of like, it sounds like it's gripping into the strings of this viola here. Versus much smoother, and then of course we can use different controls for that as well, including the attack or the expression, how hard you push it down. So, all right, let's give this little viola a try. So here's violins. Let's go up the octave. We were down there for the bass. Oh, hit a note that was too low for the violin. All right, so I've got a little idea here. I'm just going to play out maybe with some mistakes on a legato violin patch. And I hope that gets you inspired to go check out the videos by Expressive E. I'll put them in the description. And if you have any questions about the software, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Here we go.